Previously on D&V. We must deliver this note from the slain couriers.
Hey, Elton, hand me the note. I can slip past this crowd more easily by myself. Oh, no. A nat one.
With tremendous force, Aelia collides with the noble, knocking them both to the ground and into a puddle of mud.
You insolent swine! Guards! Guards!
Break it up, break it up. Well, if it isn't Sir Francis, what seems to be the problem?
All just accident. Misunderstanding.
No. There were undead. 2 slain couriers. Wait. We have a note.
This better not be a hoax. Take this to the king at once.
I demand to see these ruffians publicly reprimanded, and these 2 in particular should be hanged for assault.
Come now, don't be rash. Alcrive think one afternoon in stocks would be appropriate.
Fine, but by law, you should share their punishment.
Nah, don't worry, kids. Stocks can build character. Let's go.
The party decides to comply without resistance. The townsfolk proceed with their daily routines as the group is led to the center of the East Marketplace. All weapons and valuables are temporarily confiscated while the 5 are shackled and locked into the pillories. The morning is hot and muggy, and the smell of rotten eggs pervades the air. Flies buzz around and feast on residue clinging to the damp wooden restraints. Grocers bring wheeled carts of rotten produce and yesterday's refuse to be thrown at the prisoners for the day. Over the next few hours, children in town pelt the party with rotten tomatoes, cabbages, eggs, and other indiscriminate waste. Many onlookers point and laugh, and merchants in nearby buildings close their shutters to drown out the noise. Some of you find yourselves longing for the rain yesterday blessed you with, but alas, only sour juice and pulp rain down as you wait, unable to deflect anything significant with your restrained hands. By the time the midday's bell is ringing, you all catch a glimpse of the many knights being dispatched. It looks like the courier's note discovered was indeed taken seriously, as more than a dozen royal knights on horseback march out the east gate and towards the city of Crux. Late in the afternoon, the party is finally released from the pillories. Their mouths parched and their skins sticky with dried sweat and tomato puree, and their knees, wrists, and back sore from being bound for so long. It takes all the strength they can muster to stumble to the closest source of water, a horse trough, which they use to hydrate and roughly bathe themselves. Alcrive addresses the party as he too finishes cleaning up.
Kids, there is obviously much we must discuss. Alcrive is interested in where and how kids find this note exactly. Alcrive think maybe it have something to do with the kids' activities while investigating Professor's home the other day. But that can wait. Alcrive now headed back to Oak Umbra Lodge for a warm meal and soft bed. Why not kids meet Alcrive there tomorrow morning for breakfast? It will make things easier. Please, don't force Alcrive to come looking for you.
As Alcrive leaves, you realize you only have a few hours until the outer gates close for the night. You are all starting to feel fatigued and could really use a long rest. Would you like to press on with more activities tonight and risk a level of exhaustion, or would you prefer to long rest now? Also, you should discuss whether you're going to meet Alcrive in the morning or not.
Well, I think we should go. This Alcrive character is a bit strange, but did stick his neck out for us back there. I'm not sure how much we want to tell him, but joining him for breakfast, I feel we owe him at least that much.
We should definitely tell him about fighting the undead on the beach, and then finding the note in their pockets.
I reckon we ought to mention finding Hoffenrichter's statue, too. Helps explain what we were doing out there. And Alcrive did seem quite fond of the professor.
Right, but do we want to mention the headless statue that is now missing? Or the other map leading to that clearing in the woods?
Ew, what about where we lost sight of the trail in the slums? Mentioning that might be a valuable clue if the statue is still hidden in the area.
Good thinking, Orson. In fact, I'd be willing to press on tonight. I'm not feeling so tired as to not go stake out the area and look for someone moving a statue.
I don't know. We were trapped in the pillories all day, giving someone plenty of time to move the statue, and I'm exhausted.
Well, fair enough.
The more I think about it, I say we tell Alcrive everything. He did say he was the new deputy investigator here, right? So maybe he can help us investigate the area, or at least rescue Hoffenrichter and the other statues from the Burrow.
Revivification spells are not cheap or easy to come by in these parts. Maybe Mr. Alcrive will have some connections or help us with that too, because Jacques and I haven't mastered that level of magic yet.
Okay, then it's settled. We all head back home for a long rest tonight and plan on meeting up with the inspector for breakfast.
When you're craving some meat, grab a savory treat. A sausage roll will do just fine. I'll tell you what to do. Buy me one, maybe two. Some extra sauce on the side. You like sausage, so buy the sausage. Now eat sausage and then we'll have a real good time.
Sausage Rolls, a product by the Sausage Brothers.
After a full night's sleep, the party's beginning to recover from the previous day's stent in the stocks. They gather their gear and set out for the Oak Umbra Lodge. The weather is calm today. The wind is gentle, clouds are sparse, and the day is far less humid. Only a faint scent of rain remains from the previous few days.
Well, this must be the place.
Seemingly awaiting the party's arrival, Alcrive sits at a large round table in the main dining room. Chairs and places set for himself and 4 others, and a modest spread of food that has yet to be touched.
Ah, right on time. Please, kids, sit down. We have fresh bread, butter, gooseberry jam, and even honey. Plus cider here is delectable. Alcrive find it is best served hot.
Well, sir, don't mind if I do.
Indeed. I'll take a seat and try some hot cider.
Is there any meat? Maybe some bacon?
No bacon. Currently on the table is several varieties of bread, butter, honey, jam, and a bowl of dried oats. A server says they can bring you blood sausage for an additional cost, and later they will be serving chicken and fish for dinner, with a side of steamed veggies.
I'll take some oats for Jacques.
I'll just try the gooseberry jam with some bread. Some cider too, I guess.
Yes, good. Good. Eat. Enjoy. Alcrive was afraid Alcrive ordered too much. Hopefully kids not too sore to eat after yesterday's fun. Ha ha. That is joke, of course. Sorry. Alcrive never been much of a comedian. Just a musician. And now deputy inspector. But no matter. Stock's not too bad. Good for character. Keeps humble. And sometimes, if lucky, you'll even get free snack. No, Alcrive joke again. But seriously, let Alcrive thank kids again for finding old flute that made in Hoffenrichter's class. Alcrive even working on some new songs. Maybe Alcrive play for kids sometime.
Say, Alcrive, you graduated a few years before us, right? I'm interested in where you are from and what you did after graduation. Couldn't help but notice the salt stains on your boots the first time we met. Any adventures at sea?
Ah, yes. My homeland is Shafara Shazir, several days' travel by boat. And although Alcrive no sailor, Alcrive does spend much time at sea. And most kids think Tabaxi hate water. Well, maybe most, but not Alcrive. Alcrive can actually swim. Can kids swim? Oh, of course, apologies, dumb question. Of course kids can swim, right? Because swim is important if traveling by boat and boat sinks.
Alcrive's expression changes from whimsical to abruptly serious.
One of Alcrive's first time on boat, other kid think it funny to push Alcrive into water. Thankfully, good friend Millie jump in and save Alcrive. Ever since then, Alcrive learned to swim.
You don't say.
So Millie is your friend?
Oh yes, good friend. Great friend. Alcrive plan to share meal with Millie when Alcrive get back home. Millie's favorite dish is Elvish snowbread, although Alcrive think it a bit sweet for Alcrive's taste.
He continues to catsplain.
Oh, and salt on boots? Well, yes. Alcrive have particularly long travel to get to Fargyle. Sailed aboard famous Bullfinch, but captain make Alcrive work very hard while aboard. And adventures? Well, Alcrive not have many adventures before. Alcrive more into music and dancing. Has kids ever heard of famous bard named Elvish Presley?
That's great.
Coming soon to a music hall or pavilion near you, it's Elvish Presley, fresh off tour from the North Shaspian Archipelago, bringing all his smash hits.
Claw your face, disavow you too. Deposit an egg, that's what they're gonna do. Now baby, blue slide shoes, baby. A blue slide shoes. Ow!
Or who could forget
Blue
this
slide
hit
shoes,
number?
baby. You ain't nothing but a hellhound, crying all the time. You ain't nothing but a hellhound, crying all the time. Well, you may be cool as a frost giant, but you're no friend of mine.
Elvish Presley, coming soon to Fargyle and beyond.
The five of you continue to eat and share pleasantries. Alcrive mentions his intent was to travel to see Hoffenrichter for advice. He says that he originally thought about moving back to Simonia to become a teacher, and was studying to be an investigator in Wexark, but was struggling with his classes. Before he continued down that career path, he wanted to seek the advice of his old mentor and music teacher, Professor Hoffenrichter.
Speaking of which, Alcrive, we wanted to tell you what we found out about Hoffenrichter's disappearance.
Okay, do you tell him everything?
Yeah, but make sure he knows we tried our best to avoid killing the basilisk. And we would have told him sooner if it wasn't for that Sir Francis.
Wow, that is quite the story, kids. But don't worry, Alcrive believe you, and you are lucky to be alive, and not turn to stone. Alcrive will help you retrieve Professor's body, but the expense to revive him may be too great for the kingdom, since he owes back property taxes. But no matter, as personal favor, Professor deserves proper burial if nothing else. However, Alcrive now concerned about this other statue kids mention, missing its head. First, let's retrace steps. Show Alcrive clearing in woods, then travel to Basilisk Cave. After done there, we look for undead remains and check Professor's home one more time. Kids go now. Alcrive stay here and pay tab for breakfast, while kids go rent horses and carriage. Meet Alcrive at Western Gate.
Alcrive then hands you a small sack of coins to pay for the horses and carriage. All right, is there anything else you want to do or prepare prior to leaving town? No? Okay. You all meet up with Alcrive and start your journey to the forest clearing. The trip there is fairly uneventful. The weather remains calm and you arrive at the clearing within about 2 hours. Alcrive hops out of the carriage and searches the small meadow thoroughly.
Yes. It is clear many have been through here recently, although kids not say trees blocking the way from here. Must cut down these 3 trees to make room for carriage and horse to climb hill.
You spend the next couple hours clearing the path and taking a short rest. Then, you travel west up the hill until you reach the road that forks off to the north and south. After following the trail north, you learn it loops around to the east and connects to the main road towards Simonia.
Interesting.
You all then double back and travel south towards the Basilisk Burrow. Several hundred feet before reaching the coastline, the party locates a hole in the ground between a patch of cherry trees. It doesn't take long to deduce that this must be the top of the hole they found in one of the chambers of the Basilisk lair.
Wait, which one? With all the statues?
No, the other one, remember? The hole was too small, high up, and too slippery to climb out because the rain was coming in. It was the same room with the grave-sized hole that the headless statue was presumably dug out of.
Correct. In fact, while surveying from the top, it looks as if someone may have tried to hoist something up through this hole with ropes, but the object was obviously too large to get out.
All right, I'm starting to get the picture. They couldn't get it out close to where the wagon was waiting, so they drove it around, planning to meet the guy with the zombies out front.
Excellent deduction, Clem Clemens. You may make a good investigator yet. Unfortunately, we now face the same problem the statue thieves did. Our wagon is too bulky to navigate down this way. Oh well, back around the long way, then we investigate on foot while the horses are tied up out front. It takes another few hours to reach the front side of the hill with the burrow entrance, due to the horse-drawn wagon negotiating the tough terrain. However, prior to reaching the entrance, the party comes across the remains of the zombies, being picked at by 4 axe bills. The large, bright red bird's coop presents with constant twitching, giving them an unnatural cadence to their strut. One lifts its head and spots the wagon. A crazed look adorns its eyes as it swallows a piece of zombie flesh. It squawks as it charges you all, quickly followed by the other 3 crazed axe bills. Roll initiative.
Hey there, travelers! Still not a Patreon supporter? Well, have no fear. Visit the page and see all the amazing perks, like early access to combat encounters like this one with the axe bills. Find behind-the-scenes clips, outtakes, and surveys to help guide future content. No matter what you can afford to contribute, you too can help finance the continuing adventures in Cretinia. And now, back to the show.
After defeating the axe bills and thoroughly investigating the chambers, the party is nearly out of daylight to work. Alcrive agrees that all statues should be emptied from the burrow, but it will take multiple trips or an additional couple wagons from town. Since it is getting late, Alcrive agrees to take the first few statues back to Simonia tonight, while the others camp inside the burrow. That way, they can guard Hoffenrichter and the petrified others until Alcrive returns in the morning with help to move the remaining statues. Alcrive leaves by dusk, and you all estimate it will be at least 10 more hours until he returns. Assuming you all want to take a long rest tonight, are you sleeping together in the same chamber? Are you taking shifts having someone be a lookout, or are any of you trying to stay awake all night?
I'll take the first shift as lookout, since it takes me so long to get in and out of this armor. And I think we should all sleep in the main chamber with Hoffenrichter's statue.
Sounds good. Being part elf, I need less sleep than you all, so wake me up in about 4 hours, and I can be the lookout for the rest of the night after that.
Where are you positioning yourself during your watch, Elton?
I'll sit near the entrance, just inside the burrow, so I can see anyone approaching on the beach. Then, I will make some rounds every hour or so to make sure no one has slipped in through that hole above the other chamber.
Okay. After only about 2 or 3 hours, there is an occurrence. Elton, you are still awake and on watch when it happens, so you have technically not yet slept, nor recovered any spent abilities or hit dice. Looking to the east, you see a covered wagon approaching on the beach. At this distance, you can't tell for certain, but it looks like 2 individuals are driving, and more could possibly be in the back.
Do you really look like Tabaxi? Like Alcrive?
No. The 2 up front look like humans wearing hooded cloaks, and one might be pointing in your direction.
Okay, I run back to the main chamber to wake the rest of the party. I tell them to grab their weapons and stay vigilant. Then, I rush back to the entrance in hopes of seeing or hearing more as that wagon approaches.
You got it. The rest of you are now awake. No long rest for the 3 of you, but you can all receive the benefits of a short rest. Elton, you make your way back to the entrance of the burrow just as the wagon is parking some 30 meters away. Go ahead and roll a perception check.
22!
You distinctly hear part of a conversation between the 2 driving the wagon. One is saying to get closer to the burrow entrance, while the other says the uneven terrain and rising tide is preventing them from doing so. Would you like to take any other action, Elton?
For now, I would like to hold my action. It sounds like they are too far away. But if they get a little closer, I'd like to cast the cantrip Sacred Flame.
Back to the rest of you. You are all awake and equipped. Either roll initiative or decide who is acting first between you.
Okay, I ready my bow, and I run to the other entrance next to where Elton is, the one with the roots and overgrowth obscuring it. Then I want to take some cover or hide for now.
Roll stealth at advantage.
Nice! A 23 after modifiers.
Alia, you are confident you are now hidden from sight, and you can still see the individuals on the beach clearly. But realize, firing an arrow at this point will likely reveal your location.
Got it.
Well, I reckon Clem is going to wait inside the tunnels, specifically the adjoining tunnel that connects the two front entrances, about 30 feet in, right?
Sounds good. And are you trying to stay hidden in the shadows, Clem, or are you holding any other specific actions?
Actually, I'll ready my crossbow, but only fire if I'm sure I won't hit Elton or Alia.
And Orson?
I am going to cast mage armor, then take cover behind one of the statues in the main chamber for now. And just a heads up, my next plan will be to prepare a ray of sickness for any enemies who enter the chamber.
For clarification, you don't have dark vision, Orson. Are you leaving any lanterns lit inside the main chamber, or are you waiting in the dark?
Oh, I assumed we left at least one lantern on while sleeping, so yeah, I'll leave only one lantern on in the chamber and make sure I am behind a statue in a position where I'm hopefully not casting any obvious shadow.
Perfect. Back to the top of the turn order. One of the two men up front disembarks and walks around the back of the covered wagon. Two other humanoids exit the rear of the wagon to assist in unloading a large wooden footlocker. The man holding the reins up front yells back,
Hurry it up! The boss isn't paying us by the hour!
Elton, you are next to act. The men in the wagon are approximately 90 to 100 feet away.
All right, no sacred flame this round, but I'm thinking we should lure them inside and ambush them rather than fight out in the open. I'd like to slowly sneak back into the burrow and tell the others my plan.
Roll stealth with disadvantage due to your armor.
Hey, not bad. Even at disadvantage, I rolled 2 16s, so really a 15 after modifier.
Good enough. You managed to slink back inside without making too much noise. You were able to reach Clem's location this turn and inform him of your plan. Alia, you see Elton move deeper into the burrow, and it is now your turn.
I think I'm remaining here for this turn. I figure I'm well hidden, and we should have another turn or two before they're close enough to even notice us anyway. So I guess hold my action to fire an arrow, but only if I believe we have been spotted.
Okay, Clem.
Following Elton's lead, I want to make my way to the back of the tunnel and post up near the entrance of the main chamber. I'm going to hold my action with my crossbow, same conditions as Alia.
Great. Orson, you have just found a suitable position to hide in as you notice Clem standing at the entrance to the chamber.
I'll motion to Clem so he sees where I'm hiding and wave him in case he wants to hide in the same place.
Unfortunately, your hiding space behind this statue is only suitable for one person, but there are definitely other places to hide or take cover inside the chamber. So for now, Orson, go ahead and make a stealth check.
Ew, nat 20.
Alright, Clem, you see Orson motioning to you 1 minute, and no sooner seems to vanish the next time you look away. But you think you know which statue he is hidden behind. Elton, do you follow Clem into the main chamber, or do you cut across to the other tunnel to speak with Alia?
Oh, I think Alia can handle herself. I'll trust she'll know where to run and where to find us, should things turn pear-shaped. So again, I cautiously and as quietly as possible follow Clem.
Okay, Elton, you are now also just outside the entrance to the main chamber. Alia, from your vantage point, you can now see the 3 individuals carrying the footlocker up the beach and approaching the burrow entrances. They are now about 60 to 70 feet away at the start of your turn, whereas the driver in the wagon remains nearly 100 feet away.
Can I tell if they're headed towards the overgrown entrance where I'm hidden? Or are they aiming more for the main entrance?
Roll a perception check.
16.
You believe they are headed towards the clearer, more obvious entrance, and you are confident that they will not notice you unless you either abruptly move or until they get close enough to physically reach out and pull away the overhanging roots at your position.
Alright. I don't want to give up my hiding spot, and I'm not going to risk attacking yet. If I'm spotted, my action will be to dash back into the tunnels and towards the main chamber.
Okay, so for this turn, is the plan for Elton and Clem to look for hiding spots as well?
Yep, that was my plan.
Indeed.
Then I need you both to roll stealth checks, Elton with disadvantage.
19.
10.
Clem, you find an excellent hiding place alongside Orson, behind one of the other statues. And Elton, you resort to hiding behind some roots hanging down to the side of the chamber opening. You believe your position will be hidden until someone actually steps inside the chamber. Orson, anything else for this turn? Or still waiting for an opportune time to cast Ray of Sickness?
After consulting with Jacques, we're not sure Ray of Sickness will be the next spell cast, but it's definitely a contender. So for now, we'll stay hidden and decide when the time comes.
Then back to the people out front. Alia, the three carrying the large box are now less than 40 feet away and are definitely not looking in your direction. The man in the wagon is smoking a pipe while he waits, continuously looking over his shoulder and then back towards the burrow.
Alright, I think at least one more turn of waiting. Then I may act on that guy sitting in the wagon. I just want to make sure the other three are a decent ways inside.
Okay, the three carrying the box enter the easternmost burrow entrance and proceed towards the chamber with the statues. After a few moments, you all hear them conversing in the tunnel. The boss said we're looking for the chamber at the end, towards the right?
But wait, how are we gonna know we got the right ones?
The boss said to get the ones with their hands tied behind their backs.
Hey, yo, wait. Look, I think I see something back there.
What? Is someone back there, you think?
It looks like a lantern's light, maybe.
Yo, drop the crate. First we make sure that this hole is empty. When you start to feel irregular and lack the comfort of a job well done, remain active and reach for a bottle of Dr. Bombay's Turbo Laxatives. It's like a ray of sunshine for your colon.
Ew, or a ray of sickness.
Oh God, I'm gonna be sick!
And now back to D&V.
Okay, Alia, you are confident the three individuals are far enough away and no longer have sight of the wagon or your current position. The man in the wagon continues to puff on his pipe and frequently look over his shoulder.
Perfect. I'd like to attempt to fire an arrow at the driver, hopefully just as he is looking the other way.
Roll an attack with advantage.
18 to hit, 12 piercing.
That is enough to drop him to 0 HP. What does it look like?
Nice! I want to say the arrow goes right through his eye as he turns back from looking over his shoulder.
Done. Clearly a fatal shot. His lifeless body slumps over, still sitting up front in the wagon. The horses didn't even seem to notice and actually remained calm in place for the moment. The rest of you can hear the men getting closer to the chamber, mentioning that they can see the lantern's light. Do any of you want to act one more time before they do?
I ready my warhammer and prepare to wallop the first person who comes in and sees me.
I actually am going to cast Ray of Sickness, but I'd like to wait until more than one person enters the room, hopefully targeting the last one to enter.
Well, sir, Clem is going to remain hidden with his short sword drawn and go for the first person who tries to attack either Elton or Orson.
Okay. The two men in front step inside the chamber while the third remains just outside the entrance. All are armed with daggers and light crossbows. Elton, the first one, makes eye contact and yells out, "It's a trap!" Go ahead and make your attack.
I swing with my warhammer and 16 to hit for 7 damage total.
A solid hit, but the leather-clad foe still stands, and he fires his crossbow at Elton. A 19 to hit for 6 piercing damage. The second one in prepares to fire his crossbow at Elton as well, but first, Orson and Clem, make your attacks if desired.
Ray of Sickness on the second one to enter the room. 14 to hit. for 8 poison damage and con save of 13.
A failed saving throw. The second man doubles over in pain and begins retching and vomiting profusely. Clem, your held attack.
Clem attacks the one that hit Elton. 15 to hit.
That is a hit. Now roll damage and include your sneak attack die since the target is adjacent to an ally.
That will be a total of 13 damage then.
That will drop him. How do you want to do it?
Just right through the guts. Stab him in the belly and watch him bleed out.
Done. He has been slain. The third man in back panics, lets loose an arrow and then attempts to run out of the tunnels. He rolls a 12 to hit Clem, which is a miss. He then makes it about 30 feet down the tunnel, almost halfway to the exit.
Clem, Orson, chase that guy while I restrain this one that's puking his guts out.
You got it.
Let's go, Jacques.
The fleeing individual has to hurtle over the large crate left inside the tunnel, but is able to make it outside the burrow while Orson and Clem pursue. Alia, still lying in wait, sees the man exiting the burrow and running towards the wagon.
Oh, I shoot him.
Roll an attack with advantage.
Nat 20.
Much like before, one shot, one kill. The arrow impales the man through the neck, causing him to bleed out almost instantly. Elton, you have now restrained the sick man with some rope that you had in your backpack. His vomiting has ceased, but his pallor still has a tinge of green to it.
I'd like to interrogate him. Who are you? Who do you work for? And what do you want with these statues, you scum?
Roll intimidation with advantage.
That would be a 14 with advantage.
Please, sir, don't kill me. I have a family. I don't know what that man wanted with the statues. He only said he'd pay me handsomely if someone acquired them tonight and delivered the statues to the abandoned hovel on Mudshire Lane before sunrise.
GM, how much time until sunrise, can I tell?
You estimate it is past midnight, possibly another 4 hours until sunrise.
All right, I'll try to calm him down. I'll ask him his name.
My name? It's Oswald. Oswald Buckman.
Look, Oswaldo, no harm will come to you or your family, so long as you cooperate and tell us everything we want to know.
Please, I'll tell you whatever you want.
The one who hired you, what is their name? What do they look like, and where can we find them?
Who is your daddy, and what does he do?
He doesn't use his real name, but he calls himself the reincarnation of Gain, whatever that means. I just figured he was some demented wacko with a deformed face. Oh my god, I think I'm gonna be sick again.
He is deformed? How so?
Nearly half his face horribly disfigured, like burns or scars. Some say he was birthed by a witch, but I don't know, I just assumed they were rumors. Please, I swear that's all I know. I was only trying to get enough money to support my family. I'm sorry. The kingdom has no sympathy for the common folk or their plights. I didn't know what else to do.
Back to the rest of you. Orson and Clem, you both make it outside just in time to see Alia drop the man with her arrow shot. It looks like she has already taken care of the driver as well.
Well, you've been busy out here, haven't you, little lady?
You having fun without us?
We obviously have a different idea of what fun is, but yeah, taken care of. Let's search their bodies and the wagon as well. Make sure no one else is back there hiding.
Each corpse, as well as Oswald, has a coin pouch with exactly 25 gold inside, so the party acquires a total of 100 gold pieces. Inside the back of the wagon, there are 2 more empty footlockers, the insides lined with hay, presumably for transporting statues. The 2 horses are now beginning to get restless and are attempting to turn themselves around.
Hey, Alia, give me a hand. We gotta steady these horses. Then we can use this old wagon here to round up the statues for ourselves.
Oh, don't mind me. Jacques and I will be dragging the dead driver's body over to the other corpses. Might as well give him some company.
Okay, am I understanding that you are all going to work through the night loading the statues into the newfound wagon? Or are you going to wait for Alcrive to start loading? Because technically, no one has taken a long rest, and Elton has still not even had a short rest.
All right, I'm going to need a short rest then, at the very least. Maybe you three could take turns watching Oswald while I recover for a bit.
But wait, if they were supposed to deliver the statues to the hovel by sunrise, what could that mean? Do you think their boss is waiting there right now? Maybe we risk not catching him by waiting for Alcrive.
And why meet at the hovel anyway? You think these thieves knew old Hoffenrichter somehow?
If someone is waiting, they will realize something went wrong when the wagon doesn't return on time with the statues.
In that case, short rest only then, okay, Elton? We gotta get this wagon to the hovel before sunrise, just in case. We can always meet up with Alcrive as he passes through the slums on his way back here in the morning.
But can we get all the statues into the wagon and be back to the hovel in time? Or is the plan to leave the statues here longer and just drive the wagon back for cover?
Judging by the number of statues inside the burrow, you know you will not be able to unload all of them, but you might be able to get a few into the wagon and still make it back before sunrise.
How many statues inside match the description given to Oswald?
5 in total, all nearly identical human women with their hands bound behind them. 4 of them are in the large chamber with Hoffenrichter's statue, whereas the last one is in the smaller chamber with the tiny hole leading to the surface.
Okay, let's try to get the 4 in the large chamber first, or as many as we can, and still have time for the short rest, and still make it to the hovel by sunrise.
The way I'd like to do this, then, is to have you each roll an athletics check, and then average the total. That will determine how quickly or how many can be removed. Okay, based on your rolls, you are only able to get 3 of the statues loaded into the wagon before you feel sunrise approaching. You load yourselves and Oswald into the wagon, then begin driving towards the hovel. As soon as it is within sight, you can see a trail of black smoke rising from the structure. You increase your pace, but the hovel is a blazing inferno by the time you reach it, and the sun has now nearly risen over the horizon. It appears someone had plans of burning this building to cinders.
Quick, Orson, you got a spell to put out that fire?
No, I'm afraid not.
Elton, Alia, any ideas?
Evidence! They're likely disposing of any sign of their presence or what they were looking for. Hurry! Inside the hovel!
The party attempts to enter the hovel, but the flames and heat are too intense to remain inside for very long. They're able to look inside just long enough to notice something still smoldering in the heart of the fire. A sticky, sludge-like substance that continues to burn and crackle, fueling the roaring flames. Orson, roll your choice of either a history or arcana check.
Roll the 15.
You recall from your teachings in school, learning of a substance called alchemist fire, which is similar to medieval napalm, and you postulate that something similar must have been used to start this inferno. You also quickly realize that controlling or extinguishing these flames are outside of the party's current capabilities. The party resigns themselves to waiting outside the burning structure, which is little more than flaming support beams at this point. A loud bell tolls from the watchtower in Simonia as a small group of knights on horseback charge in the direction of the party in the still burning hovel. Within about 20 minutes, the patrol group reaches the party, barely in time to see the final support beam collapse into ember and ash. The party members explain the situation to the knight in charge, while an apprentice mage from the group casts some minor spells to extinguish the remaining embers. The party is interrogated on the spot over the next hour until Alcrive arrives in a wagon driven by escorts Peter and Skeeter. Deputy Inspector Alcrive is once again able to corroborate the player character's story. It is determined that they probably didn't start the fire, since a vandal would have likely fled the scene. The patrol group is shown a written order in Alcrive's possession, explaining he has the authority to assist these adventurers in recovering the petrified victims from the burrow, and will then return the recovered statues to the palace courtyard until they can be revived or until further notice. Feeling satisfied, the patrol group leaves with the captive Oswald and returns to Simonia once the fire is completely out. The party, along with Alcrive and the escorts Peter and Skeeter, drive the wagons back to the burrow, and you all spend the next several hours removing the remaining statues from both chambers. On the return trip, Alcrive explains that he spoke at length with an official in town in order to get the written order permitting storage of the many statues in the palace courtyard.
The kingdom does not yet want to allocate any funds or resources to reviving any of the petrified individuals, but those in charge agree that the statues will not decrease any value or aesthetic appeal to the courtyard. Peter and Skeeter agree to return the wagons and horses to the stable masters after they help unload the last of the statues into the courtyard, and they receive payment from Alcrive, of course.
Well, kiddos, Inspector Alcrive, that should be the last of them.
Indeed. Thank you, Skeeter. Thank you, Peter. The best escorts coin can buy.
Until next time, try to stay out of trouble, youngins.
Knowing that these thieves were after a few specific statues, Alcrive and the party make sure to place the 5 robed women with bound hands and Professor Hoffenrichter's statues in the most visible and guarded areas of the courtyard.
All in a day's work. And although Hoffenrichter is yet to be revived, it is still nice to know what happened to him. Alcrive can't help but wonder what Professor was doing in that lair, but those questions will have to wait until Kingdom can afford to revive him. Now, the statue without a head, its purpose and location remain a mystery. Interesting.
Indeed. Thank you again, Alcrive. You were a tremendous help.
Yeah, we couldn't have done it without you. And we'll let you know if we find any other clues about the missing statue or the escaped mage that we saw that first night.
Yeah, that prisoner Oswald said the man who hired him had a deformed face, maybe scars or burns.
Yes, sir? And something about being referred to as gay and incarnate or something. Maybe that info will help you in some way, Alcrive.
Gain. Interesting. Well, kids, Alcrive really must be going now. Duties as Deputy Inspector are really piling up. Should kids ever need Alcrive, you can find Alcrive working out of the upstairs office at Oak Umbra Lodge, outside Outer Gate and near West Slums. You remember the place, yes? Farewell, Elton, Elia, Orson, and Clem.
And with that, we bring our session to a close. See you next time, travelers, on Dungeons and Vagabonds.